Welcome to Spectator Sporting, sponsored by SpectatorSporting.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm Adi Waller.
This is episode number 40. We call it the Gale Sayers edition. The only player to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Am I right about that?
You might be. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a bad way. But we got a big time show for you today. The Bears have made some moves, so we're going to get into that. Make sure you go to SpectatorSporting.com. Go ahead and check out the videos. Clips will be on there. Also, go click on the YouTube link, Spectator Sporting, and the clips. This will be up there very soon. We got my main man in the house. When we talking Chicago Bears, we got my main man, Boone Potter, is in the building. What's happening?
It's good.
Man, let's just dive right into it. The Chicago Bears, long season, and there was a lot of talk about the quarterback position. Mitch Trubisky obviously did not play up to standard, and all offseason we've been wondering, are the Bears going to pick up a quarterback? What are we going to do? Are they just going to stick with Mitch? Now, I know we talked off air a little bit how Ryan Pace bamboozled all of us and said that Mitch was the guy, but once free agency started, the real came out, and the Bears traded for Nick Foles for a 4th-round pick, which was great. And then they got the good money alone to go with Nick Foles, only 15.5 guaranteed. 21 million guaranteed. So they got him at a fair market price. So I want to start with you, Boone. What's your thoughts about this trade? What's the first thing you think about with this trade?
Oh man, it took me about the whole 48 hours to just mull it over and think about it. But I would say I like it. I like the trade, a 4th-round pick, which is a good value for him. I think getting $15 million the first year, 21 for the total of 3 years. And I like it. Really, what sold me was the Bears coaching staff. That's why I like this trade. The offensive coordinator was his quarterback coach back in Philly in 2013, Bill Lazor, and that's when he had his best season of his career with 2,891 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions.
Right.
I mean, a remarkable year. Can't get no better than that. Matt Nagy was the offensive coordinator for Kansas City when he was there in 2016. Yep. Matt Nagy was with Philly in 2012 when he was there, right before his great season. And John DiFilippo was the position coach in 2017 over there, and he was just with him in Jacksonville last year in 2019. Yep. So these coaches know him well, and he should be in a comfortable situation. The other thing that made me like it is, that made me a little bit questionable about this situation is the fact that I feel like Nick Foles is just simply injury prone. Yeah. So to him, he never played all 16 games in the season. He's a little guy, he's fragile. The Bears' O-line is not great, and he's not mobile. But now, making my sandwich, other thing I like about it is they say this guy got a quick release.
He definitely does.
So he get the ball off quick. So that's a great thing. And the third thing is, they say his best attribute is his deep ball. They say he got a great touch on the deep ball, and that, in my opinion, is Mitch Trubisky's weak points. So it seemed like he's the opposite of Mitch. He knows the coaching staff. So all in all, I like it.
What's your thoughts, Adi?
Well, after that Super Bowl MVP that Nick Foles got, when they beat the Patriots, the next season he played 5 games in 2018. He had a 72% completion percentage. He threw for 282 yards passing per game, and he had a 96 quarterback rating. And in the playoffs at Soldier Field, playing the Bears, a great defense that year. The 2018 Bears defense was historically good. He had a remarkable game-winning drive against the Bears to beat them, and led to the Cody Parkey missed field goal. So he came out victorious. The next week against the New Orleans Saints, they should have beat them, but Alshon Jeffrey dropped a huge pass when the Eagles was driving down in the red zone. He dropped it right into the arms until the cornerback, Lattimore, gained an interception. The Eagles was only down 6 points with under 2 minutes to go. They had the momentum about to win that game. Yep. But last year for Nick Foles was a disaster with the Jaguars, okay? He broke his collarbone in week 1. He returned to the Jaguars in week 11 against the Indianapolis Colts, and they was down 24-7 in the 4th quarter in that game. They got blown out and a loss in that game. The next week, they was down 28-3 in the 3rd quarter against the Tennessee Titans. They got blown out in that game. Then in the next game, with Nick Foles starting against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home in Jacksonville, Nick Foles got strip sacked twice. One of them was returned for a touchdown, and he threw an interception in that game. The Jaguars was losing that game 25-0 at halftime, getting booed, and he was replaced with Minshew Mania at halftime, and that's why I'm not excited about this trade.
Yeah, I get that point of view. I just think when it came to with the Jacksonville, it was just an unfortunate injury. I think if he would have been able to stay healthy, I think it would have been a different result. But I just like Boom said, the injury thing is an issue. There's no question. But I think last year just more was the thing of the injury. I mean, Jacksonville paid the guy $88 million to come down there. You know what I mean? So now, and also you got to think about Jacksonville. They have a different regime now. No more Tom Coughlin's not there no more. He's been let go. So that wasn't their guy no more.
I agree. The whole team was a mess too. Yeah. So it's hard to play on the team. I feel like that team was falling apart. See what they still doing, straightening away good assets all the way to this offseason. And
they got 12 picks though.
I mean, the guy was injured.
Yeah.
The guy was injured. He only played 4 games. I feel like he'll be healthy. And like I said, I like the trade because I think the guy can play if he just don't be injured.
I just think the move is great because when we had a quarterback last year, we got somebody. If Mitch is not able and he's not the guy, we got somebody who's capable of stepping in and filling in and winning some games. You can win with Nick Foles.
Well, it's interesting. We're watching. We don't know when Cam Newton is going to get traded or released and things like that. I'm curious to see what a team has to get up to get Cam Newton. Okay, that's who I wanted. That's what I thought the Bears might get. And then also Andy Dalton. What a team giving up for Andy Dalton and Cam Newton. We'll see, but I really wanted Cam Newton. I thought we would get Andy Dalton because Bill Lazor was his offensive coordinator.
Well, you got to think both them quarterbacks are going to be released. So, look, the Carolina Panthers has already signed Teddy Bridgewater, so there's no point of Cam Newton even being there. So no team is going to really jump up to trade for him. Why trade for him when you have to release him anyway and I can get him in the free agency market? Mm-hmm. The same with Andy Dalton. We know that when the draft come around, the Bengals are drafting the quarterback from the LSU.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, exactly. So those quarterbacks, they're not on their teams no more. So why are you going to trade for something that you can get for free? I mean, in a sense, instead of giving up picks and of that nature. So that's probably how a lot of teams are thinking about it.
Well, based off talent, I agree with Adi. Like Cam Newton can change your team. I mean, they said he had an ankle injury or some kind of foot injury. He got to be healed by now. I don't care.
But he's had shoulder injuries too. Cam has been hurt. Let's be honest now. I'm with you. Cam is. If we ask who the better quarterback is, it's Cam by far. It's not. There's no doubt about that.
I'd take 70% of Cam. I mean, because when he first hurt his shoulder, remember he couldn't throw the ball down the field, and he was still looking better than Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky, in my opinion.
If Nick Foles is not the healthiest guy.
No, that's true too. So you can argue that, but I think I don't know. Cam, it's just a different situation with Cam Newton. I don't know if the Bears would have, if they traded for Cam Newton, the Bears might have had to give up more, and it would have cost more money. You got to think about they got a good, fair deal.
Because $15.5 million is guaranteed to Nick Foles this coming season.
Yes,
and Cam Newton's owed $19 million next year.
Right.
We don't know if he would have restructured his contract.
Yeah.
But plus, Bill Lazor and John DeFilippo and Matt Nagy was previous coaches of Nick Foles, not a Cam Newton. I think that would make it better for me. That's what sold me at the end. I was on the fence like Adi was, but knowing that our coaching staff coached him previously and succeeded with him in the past. It ain't like they just coached him and failed.
Yes.
They had success with him. So that was like, you know what? This is a perfect storm for him, actually, for Nick Foles.
You have to think about it. Nick Foles played with the Chiefs and the Eagles. This is the same system that the Bears are trying to run and imitate.
With the same coaches.
The same coaches. And this Nick Foles knows it. He's going to go right in the training camp knowing all the plays. He's going to know everything. So I thought it was a good move because I love the fact that you bring a quarterback in here and you like, you know what, bitch? You either man up or you're going to be gone. It's as simple as that.
And it's about what Nagy was saying. You want to look for this long shot and then check down. Yeah, that's what Nick Foles did. He said he got a great deep ball. You try to go for the long shot. If it's not there, you shut it down, quick release. I mean, he can really succeed in this situation.
You got to look what happened with the Eagles. You make a great point. When he stepped in at quarterback, no offense to Carson Wentz, he is a talented quarterback, but Carson Wentz looks for one player. It seems like when I'm watching, and that's Zach Ertz. When Nick Foles gets in the game, he spread it out. It's a reason why Alshon Jeffrey don't like Carson Wentz.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know the stories, but they didn't get along because he didn't throw him the ball.
I think he's demanding the trade. He's trying to get out of Philly.
Yeah, he wants to get out of Philly now because Carson Wentz does not throw him the ball. Where you saw when Nick Foles was in that playoff run, it was the Alshon Jeffrey show. It was everybody was involved. It wasn't just Zach Ertz show.
But my thing is, we haven't seen Nick Foles consistently do it season after season, like 16 games. You know what I'm saying?
That's
we saw it in 2013. Yes, he had the 27 TDs to 2 interceptions. A great season in 2013. But the next year, he got hurt. He broke his collarbone. So we haven't seen him do it for a season consistently, 16 games, and so that's why I'm a little apprehensive.
I mean, 2013 plus the year when he won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, that's 2 years right there.
No, that's not a full year, though. He came in, he won a Super Bowl, but he played what? How many games did he play that season?
Well, 5 in the regular season, and then 3 in the playoffs or 2 in the playoffs. So 7, 8 games.
Yeah, it wasn't a full season.
Altogether.
His problem is that horrible St. Louis run. When he went to St. Louis, what was that? I need to do research. I don't know what happened in St. Louis.
Listen, I'll tell you what happened. Jeff Fisher was the coach. Okay,
that's my name.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher was the coach. Yeah, and look, and as much trash as I might say about Jared Goff, Jeff Fisher was the first year that Jared Goff was in. We all called him a bust. And then they got a new coach, and all of a sudden Jared Goff, started winning some games, and they ended up going to a Super Bowl. So, like I always been telling y'all, sometimes it's just about the coaching and the organization, what they do for the quarterback. It's not always on the quarterback.
I mean, you can blame all Nick Foles' problems on injuries except for that St. Louis run.
Yeah.
So he's just an injured quarterback. Other than that, he's good to go.
So let's get into it now. Let's get to the meat of this. So the Bears, we drafted Mitch Trubisky, number 2 pick. Number 2 pick.
Yeah.
And so is Ryan Pace, by him going and acknowledging that we need a veteran quarterback and going to get Nick Foles. So Ryan Pace is on the verge of admitting that he was wrong about Mitch Trubisky. Yeah. But now, I want to know from your point, Ike. Let me start with you. How should the Bears handle this situation? Should Foles just be named the starter automatically? Should it be an open competition? Or you think Mitch should be the starter going into the camp? How do you think this should play out?
Well, you know what? Last season, everyone got excited about Trubisky after, in my book, he had the best game of his career against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys had a top 10 defense last year. And so, I give him credit. He did pretty good against them. And I was, because he had very good games in the past. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have good games in the past. He had good against tomato cans, though. Against the Redskins, the Lions, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he go against the Dallas Cowboys, against DeMarcus Lawrence, Robert Quinn, Byron Jones, the cornerback. They got some heavy hitters over there, and he did pretty good. So I'm looking at it like, okay, the Bears trying to make a playoff run. How are they going to follow that up? In the next week against Green Bay, the Bears are down 21-3 in the fourth quarter. Okay, and the very next game after the Green Bay game against the Kansas City Chiefs, they lose the game 26-3. Okay, so that was the end of Trubisky. That was the end. He's proved that he's inconsistent, and when he played against an above-average defense, that he folds, he panics, and he can't think, and he's not cool. He's not poised under pressure, and he's inaccurate. Like that inaccurate pass he threw to Allen Robinson against the Chiefs when he burnt the man and he overthrew him like he loves to do, overthrowing the deep man for a touchdown. Okay, so Trubisky is so. I'm saying Nick Foles should be the starting quarterback. Trubisky is so bad, even though I'm not excited about Nick Foles coming to the Bears. I think Nick Foles will start from day one starter.
What do you think?
Well, I understand where you're coming from about Trubisky, shortcomings. Especially, the fact that he can't really score, but he do have legs. Okay, he's a different kind of quarterback. You got to think about him in a different way. So he has a skill set, running with the ball. So I think it should be an open competition. Now, open competition all the way. In practice, you're splitting reps. Foles take 4 reps, Trubisky take 4. You split it day by day, and everything's on film. The same thing with the preseason. I think the whole offensive starters got to play the first game with Nick Foles. The whole offensive starters play the first game with Trubisky. break down the film with the coaches, and then before the third game is played, announce the starter. He can sit out that third game. So you got into the second game of the preseason to find out who's the best player. I think it should be a flat-out open competition. And then after that, because they got a different kind of game, you know what I mean? So I think it's open competition is the way to go.
Yeah, both of y'all make fair points, but I'm more with you on this one, Boom. I think it should be open competition. Listen, at the end of the day, this is why it's going to be open competition. Mitch was still a number 2 pick, and that was Ryan Pace's golden pick right there. Mm-hmm. So Pace is not just giving up, even though he was full of it. You know, saying Mitch was the guy. Yeah. I don't think he's 100% giving up on Mitch yet. Now I look at it like this. This is why I love the move, because this is great. Because now this is forcing Mitch to man the up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, man up. Like you either go, competition is good. You either gonna strive, you either gonna step up, or you gonna fall out. You're gonna be gone. It's simple as that. Now if it's an open competition and Mitch flat out wins the job, then we know Mitch got better. He got better.
Yeah. It should be a flat out open competition. Yeah. But their games are so different. Mitch is a scrambling, running quarterback. He can't make reads. Now let me tell you something. The reason why he killed Dallas and he killed Tampa Bay and he killed the Lions is because they play man-to-man defense. Yeah. So it's something he can understand what's going on. Then in Green Bay, they always been smart and cunning. They put him in the zone. Yeah. Don't put like a split zone. You in cover 2 on this side, you cover 3 on the other side. Mm-hmm. Mitch just go totally bonkers. He doesn't know what's going on. So the other 2 games when he was messing up, that's because they had some smart defensive coordinators put him in a funny zone blitzes, different things like that. So he has a problem with going against the zone. It's very, very horrible.
Well, that's the problem, and that's my point. It's open competition. Hey, listen, you know your shortcomings. Mm-hmm. Improve on it.
I don't trust him with that, but he'll run. Take off and run.
But he needs to improve on that because every team is not going to let you run. They're going to play defensive end contain. Mm-hmm. You're not going to go this way. Have a spy. So you're going to have to be able to do that. And if he's not able to do that, he's not going to win the job. Point blank.
But here's the thing. Here's why I disagree with y'all saying it should be open competition. Because think about it. In training camp, that's practice. Like Allen Iverson said. Practice. We talking about practice. You know what I'm saying? So that's mean nothing to me. And then in preseason, more and more coaches are not playing their starters in preseason. More and more, everybody just sitting their starters in the preseason. So we're going to see what Trubisky go against third string people.
I mean, Nick Foles going to go against them too.
I'll say Nick Foles has proved that he can win primetime games. He won a Super Bowl. That right there let me know he should be the day 1 starter. Going into training camp, Nick Foles should be the starter from day 1. All he got to do is flash that Super Bowl ring, and Trubisky, all he showed that he just panic under pressure and throw inaccurate passes. It's nothing that Trubisky can do in preseason or in training camp and practice that can prove to me that he should start off with Nick Foles.
Well, you got to give him a little credit. Now, I know last year but the year before in that Eagles game, he did make some primetime throws. He put the Bears in position to win. So he did have a couple primetime moments. So I'm not saying it's like Nick Foles. I think it should, but I just think it should be open competition. And listen, you got a young quarterback. Nick Foles has an option on his quarterback where option on his contract now where he can leave after this year. So you have to make it an open competition because if you don't, you got to find out what you got in this right now. Like you tried to find out last year. Now it was a lot of let's be real. It was a lot of things that went against Mitch last year. First of all, it started in that Philly game. No tight end all season.
Yeah, no tight end all season.
The Bears gave up Jordan Howard for what? I don't know. That was a workhorse relying on. The offensive line was not as good last year. The receivers was hurt last year. So it was a different season from 2019 and 2018. I'm not making no excuses because Mitch was awful. I'm not denying that. But it was a lot of other things that went against him in that season. And the coaching and the play calling is very questionable as well with Matt Nagy. He has to improve too. And this ain't just Mitch. Matt Nagy has to improve his play calling. But with Nick Foles, I just think it needs to be an open competition.
Only thing Matt Nagy can do is adopt the Ravens type of offense where they're doing more running, more quarterback keepers that can put Mitch in question for injury. Now, Mitch was horrible. Before he hurt his shoulder and he had to set out a couple of games before he came back, being a Bears fan, I see a lot of Bears quarterbacks. You can tell when you see a scared quarterback out there. Yeah. He was scared. He was in fear for his life. Then when he came back after his injuries, a little bit more bold, a little bit more confident, and he started running more. So that's his game. And that's a question for injury. if he do it, but he got to do what he got to do if he want to play in this league.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make no excuses. It's not Matt Nagy's fault. You got to know yourself. If the coach don't know you, you know yourself. They tried to make him a pocket passer. He was throwing the ball 40 times, 50 times a game. Look, he should have just called his own plays like Jim Harbaugh did back in the day or something, and just do it.
But he don't have the brain. He don't have the moxie to do that, and he don't have the brain power, the intelligence to do that. Look, Mitch Trubisky is a bust, and he should be benched.
So you think that Nick Foles should be the starter right now? You say open competition.
Give him competition to show some sacks.
Yeah.
And show some baseballs down there. Because look, if he got to start playing his game. He is a serviceable quarterback, but not how Matt Nagy wanted him to do.
Yeah.
He can't throw the ball 40, 50 times a game in the pocket. He got to do his own thing.
And that's my point about Matt Nagy. He got to realize what's going on. He got to read the situation and call plays accordingly.
Why not start Nick Foles since he's more injury prone than Mitchell Trubisky? Why not start Nick Foles, let him break his collarbone, then have Trubisky go out there?
I'm just saying, yo. I mean,
And then see what he
goes.
do.
I mean, look, Trubisky is injury prone too.
No, Trubisky, I give him that. He's durable. The dude, if he missed a game, he missed like 2 or 3 games.
He missed 2 games every season.
That's durable though. He know he's not out for the season. Foles only played 4 games last year.
That was last year.
Trubisky plays at least. He gonna give you double digit games. He don't miss like a whole season. He's a durable guy.
You know,
All right. So Nick Foles, we in favor of the competition. You're watching Spectator Sporting on SpectatorSport.com. This is episode number 40, the Gale Sayers edition. When we come back, the Bears have picked up another pass rusher. We'll tell you who when we get back.
yeah. I wanted to curse so fast. I go some nuts.